Right. Good evening, everybody. I'm very, very late. By Friday standards. Oh, by Friday standards. I keep hearing myself. Sorry. But yeah, by Friday standards, maybe an hour. But my usual standards, considerably worse. Unfortunately, work continues to make unreasonable demands of me, and it feels like the stream suffers for that. And I'll be honest, I don't have a really good way of dealing with that because the fact of the matter is I shouldn't tolerate that behavior from work. But I do have 7 or 8 months. 7 or 8 months I will pay all of the debt that's owing. And that will be the point where I start very seriously looking at my alternatives, because that's where I can accept a job that pays less than what I currently get. So, anyways, not going to be a problem that's solved today. But first of all, I've got my quality options, and rather than mope about a job, I am going to enjoy a really good game. Especially too, because the work stuff's really annoying, but it's not everything, right? There's more. There's more to life, and being able to hang out with a lot of you 3 times a week is definitely a bit of a perk. All right, enjoy the cinematic.
Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial.
It shouldn't be showing Discord.
Gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor. Fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth. But we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity. Until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house. Opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Sorry, I had a bite of dinner. Darkest Dungeon is about making the most in a bad situation. Quests will fail or must be abandoned, heroes will die, and when they die, they stay dead. Progress autosaves constantly, so actions are permanent. The game expects a lot out of you. How far will you push your adventures? How much are you willing to risk in your quest to restore the hamlet? What will you sacrifice to save the life of your favorite hero? And I always read that late, so it always gets to the Darkest Dungeon before I'm ready to go. Sorry. If I'm starting the stream late, it's usually because of madness, and it's trying to get a couple of extra bites in so that I won't completely fall apart when when the broadcast is ready to, when I'm kind of mid-broadcast. I do have some tea, which is very, very welcome. But we'll work on that later. So I think it was the Forgotten Estate. Should be the yeah. And if memory serves, we defeated the attack, but we lost another high value. Excuse me, high value hero. So some competing priorities I have at the moment. So, Friday, huh?
Once, our estate was the envy of this land.
The veteran sergeant will be demonstrating his training regimen at the guild hall every night for the next week. All those concerned with self-preservation are encouraged to attend. Idle men at arms. Alright. So I'm pretty sure I can avoid sending men at arms out. Now I was wondering, it looks like I don't have... Looks like I don't actually have a group ready to go. So one of the things I remember from the last the last time I played this was we're really short on blood. I need to try and improve that. I also forgot what position I'm trying to replace. Okay, Flagellant. Which I don't believe we had on the stagecoach. Nope. I am, however, going to take a quick minute here and just see if we have... So, like, a great example here is that we have an Arbalist and a Musketeer. Now, if this was a level 3 Musketeer, I'd be willing to sort of switch people out. Oh, looks like we've already got a recruit Flagellant, so... Let's take a look at some of the other jobs that I lost. This is a highwayman. And a Hellion. Okay. So let's actually sort by class. Okay, so 2 lepers, shield, Hellion. Oh yeah, we've got quite a few Arbalists and equivalents. So it looks like I do want a replacement Hellion. I can work with that. I'm not going to mess around with the rest of this too much. Okay, so sorry. There's a few things that I can do, right? So I can mess around with the ruins and try and get my, my low level people up, but that doesn't really help my current position. I could try and take out a big powerful enemy, like the Necromancer, but we only have sort of 3 level 5. So if I'm looking to try and level people up, I'm not really in the right spot. What I would normally want to do is something like Gather the Blood, and that, that'll help me out with my bleeding problem. But again, I've got so many people who are currently recovering some stress from a big fight. So what I'd ideally like to try and do is find something that will advance me in... so like ideally the Warrens or the Weald, so that we can make some progress towards a boss. And try and bring some people up from, level 4 to level 5, or, similar moves, just so that we can start really making some progress on the Gather the Blood mission. So let's actually try and work with the level 4s. Caregivers Convention sounds tempting. The other thing I could try and do, where is my... Okay, so I am going to bring the antiquarian. Now, this is a little bit of a... So this kind of contradicts what I'm trying to do. I want to try and bring as many people as I can up to like level 5. So normally I would want to bring a team of level 4s. But with the antiquarian, I'm also trying to get a little bit of extra money. So I don't want to invest too much on it. I think probably bringing a Hellion along wouldn't be a bad idea. They're wasting, so that's a little bit of a worry. Yeah, so I guess the one worry about this is that if I send them straight into a quest to try and get blood from the courtyard, there may be some penalties. But I think it's the best I got here, to be honest. So now that we've picked our adventurers, let's just make sure that everybody's equipped for the job. Okay. I don't exactly want to like max everybody out. So in certain circumstances, I'd actually say a jester would be a really good idea here, but unfortunately we don't have jesters in the level that I want them to be. So the other thing I could try is to get rid of some negative features, but we're at 12,000, so maybe we'll just hang on to our pennies for the time being. See what we can work with. There was one other thing I wanted to check out, which was... excuse me. Yeah, so this would give bottles of the blood. But I believe we still need to upgrade... Yeah. It pains me to do it, but I want to deal with blood a little more directly, so... Anyways. We are going to carry on in the... Weald. Many a cart driver has met their end while traversing the Weald. A king's ransom of medicines was recently abandoned. They would greatly assist in the rebuilding of this sickly hamlet. So it's a medium mission. We need to gather 3 medicines. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. Yeah, so I didn't really necessarily pick the best... Okay, so if I get the Caregivers Convention compared to exploring 90% of rooms... but it gives me busts. Okay. So this isn't necessarily the one you'd want to bring an antiquarian on with the medicines, but I'm doing it anyway. And you know what? Oh, see, normally I would not bring the torches, but I have to here because I don't want to wind up... I don't want to wind up... I think we can get by with this. I don't want to wind up in a situation where we have too much stress to go and get some blood from the Crimson Court. Beware the fanatic. As the sacrificial pyre is damaged, the fanatic's zealous rages increase. Well, that's going to make life difficult. I will try to be a little bit better and less raspy. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to take a big gulp of water. I think I might be getting a little sick.
You are not alone in this place. The fanatic is on the prowl, and he smells your sickness.
Alright, so here we need to investigate all of the rooms. I'll go left and then right. Now this we're going to take because this might actually give us blood. Perhaps this contains the blood. Kuzwal, thank you very much for the sub. So this is protected, so that's one of the reasons I'm not attacking this individual. If we could take out the sycophant, it's about as well as I'm gonna get. Very happy Friday to you as well. You definitely gave me a good start to it, especially given my late start to it. Excuse me again. So the Zealous Accusation will let me take 2, but I don't think I have... I think I'm going to do enough damage with that on its own, so let's just smite the... Yeah, there's no way we would have done that. So we'll focus on the manservant we can attack. And hopefully we'll... nice. Annihilated. Hopefully we won't get too much stress. Impressive. Good God. Okay.
Eradicated.
Nice. All right. They really want me to fight these vampires. How are these things against blight? Okay, they're really good against blight, so. Drat. So this one I want to do iron. Well, does it matter? Yeah, the crit modifier is high on the Iron Swan, so nice.
Obliterated.
And let's hope for the best. Nice. Okay, so that's 2 down. They're really going after the one person who... actually, I guess there's 2 who don't have the blood yet. Yeah, that's not a surprise there. So this isn't... There's not a whole lot for me to talk about in terms of this encounter. It's a pretty standard... Like, the Vestal's going to be taking care of healing everybody. I just want to make sure I don't take too much damage so I can take care of the rest of the dungeon. But the fact that we are going up against a couple Crimson Cord enemies does give me... Jesus.
The ground quakes.
It does give me a nice leg up on my overall goal of improving the quantity of blood that I have. But again, the stress is already higher than I wanted after 2 encounters.
Give them no quarter.
Okay, so Vestal's Craving.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
We don't know what's behind that. Alright, this is going to be a little bit of a pain because we don't have a way of dealing with the hidden unit. But I'll probably make a... Oop. I was going to try and make an effort on the dog, but that may not be viable. Now it is. Yeah, I actually have 2 healers in this party, not necessarily by design. but I think it's gonna help me out.
Destroy them all.
I don't think stunning is the right call here. I think we'll just go for as much damage as we can get away with. Antiquarian's doing a good job of staying out of trouble. I will get around to shouting these barks when I can, but right now I'm struggling to keep from hacking up a lung. So this one also has a good blight resist, right? Yeah. There's probably going to be a tree branch smack with our name on it. Let's hope for the best, but we've got the Vestal to... Nice. Alright. We have the Vestal to help us out if it comes to it. Alright. I mean, if I want to boost the torch, I can do the Dazzling Light. Actually, you know what? We can probably get away with that. Because we're going to be mopping up the Blighted Giant for starters. Probably not going to have enough to take out the...
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
So again, that wasn't about getting the stun, that was more about getting the torch.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Success so clearly in view.
Alright, so this is the object of our search. Like I said,
Of the light.
this is really one of these cases where it's like, why on earth would you bring an antiquarian when you have a medicine mission? And it was just, I wanted the busts. There's definitely some slack in terms of my pack. So, I mean, I suppose if I really wanted... Yeah, you know what, we can start by putting the Blightstone in. So we got a free Viscount's Invitation. Clearly we don't need to keep the Holy Water or the Skeleton Key, and I'm keeping the Firewood now, but certainly I don't feel any particular need to retain it. Index Gnome, how you doing? Good to see you. Nothing must be left undisturbed. Kind of hoping that would happen later. So this probably means I'm going to throw away the firewood. Ah, yes. Okay. This is the more I think about this combo, this is actually a really nasty one, right? Because I prefer to take out the Cultist Enchantress for two reasons. One, they will bring my torch down, but two, they really spike my my stress as well. But of course, I've got a couple of corpses of Cultist Enchantresses. That's just going to give me more quivering ectoplasm to work with. The thing is that even with that in mind, I still think the Enchantresses are the right target of my ire.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
These ones will be a little bit more even, though. Have you read my blog? So it's very unlikely that the Hellion's going to move after the Crusader. Oh, but this does set the Hellion up for another Iron Swan. Okay. I'm going to do something that's a little silly here. Actually, you know what? Let's go for the... Yeah, let's go for more damage. Oh, okay. Unexpected. Nuts. Not quite what I had in mind, but...
A decisive pummeling.
Ooh.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
So we'll start by just tossing out some of the like the spare stuff. Actually, we can still keep the holy water. Emeralds are probably going to go pretty quickly, but I want to try and do this in an orderly fashion. So I'm hoping we don't run into anything on our way out. I did it this way because I do want to try and get a little greedy and go through all of the rooms, but again, this is one where I need to get 3 medicine, so that's going to be 3 inventory slots that get eaten up. And then on top of that, excuse me, I'm trying, I'm trying not to let the stress go up too high. Obviously, that's kind of a mug's game at this point. Okay, looks like another fight. Yeah, they're not that tough.
Be gone, fiend. Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
If he's stunned, I'm going to be so mad. Ah! Alright. So I'm thinking we, probably...
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
The main objective is actually to get some level 5 people so we can go and get some blood. Secondary objective is really more about getting cash. But again, like the cash objective is sort of in conflict with the fact that I chose the mission where I have to get 3 medicine. And like that wasn't a mistake. I knew what I was getting into, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to get crabby about the things I have to give up. Yeah, they know who to target on the stress. Okay, do I gain anything by stunning right now? I don't think so, so let's do the judgment. I don't think the supplicant has a... Oh no, the supplicant does have a gather. Oh no, of course, because of the anime eyes. Oh, we really didn't perform this time. Alright, that's gotta push him over the edge. Our Slash has become selfish.
Self-preservation is paramount, at any cost.
So I think this is the last, oh no, even this, yeah, everybody's got the thirst now. I really don't want to waste the Iron Swan on the, well, I'll come to regret that actually. So here I'm going to do a judgment on the assumption that the Antiquarian's going to be able to last another turn. Ah! I'm just trying to get everybody weak so that everyone will be able to have a good chance of taking out an enemy. So we clearly need to heal the Antiquarian at this point. So I'm not quite at the point where I want the Antiquarian to self-heal.
Precision and power.
I was hoping I'd have a little bit more...
Beyond one's limits.
I was hoping I'd have a little bit more for the healing, but...
This expedition at least promises success. In Radiance, may we find victory.
So these are 250 each. They're the least valuable out of anything I can grab, but then the question is, am I really going to use the firewood? No. So we're definitely going to push the Antiquarian to the limit. Okay, that's good. You can tell what my favorite Hellion skill is. I don't think Fortifying Vapors is going to help that. So hopefully the Antiquarian can clear him out. I should have probably seen... Yeah, so it gives buffs, but it doesn't remove. Oh, alright, well at least I have Holy Lance. Of course. Fortunately, that could have turned fatal. Fortunately, we're going to have a chance to heal him up. It's not really the numbers I need. Oh, this is gonna be bad. So, no healing. Cool. I got a little lucky that they targeted the Hellion there, because if we got more ticking damage on the Crusader, not 100% sure. Like with the Vestal, it's a bit more of a reassuring heal. Vapors from the Antiquarian don't inspire a lot of confidence. Anyways, we did manage to shuffle our way back.
Reeling, about to break.
Okay, this clearly has to be a Fortifying Vapors. Like, even though we're gonna get another hit. What?!
Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
I think that was 3 tree branch smackdowns we survived in that encounter. Good God. Okay. I hate that I'm actually trying to think through all of this, because obviously I'm gonna wind up throwing away 2 of these things before the end of this. Before the end of this run. So these are worth the least. No, these are worth the least each. So we'll replace for port. Well, I did say I want much. No, 500. I'll take the portraits. I got lucky. And we still have a Fanatic to potentially deal with.
Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
I don't think I can take these. I'm done for if I run into a blockage without a shovel.
Back to the pit.
That's 6 damage. So half his health is going.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
I think in this case I'm going to try a stun. Okay, so that gives me a little tempo. Potentially gives me a little tempo for healing.
The blood quickens.
And here I want to prep for a walk where they're going to be lighting out.
Executed with
Tiberiosity, how you doing? Okay, so I have a little extra food which I can use, but let's hang on to this for now. And again, I'm not exactly eager to take on some fights, but I got a few people who are craving, so this would be good for getting some blood. Let's say, what are your regular hours, by the way, Tiberiosity? Because I know, I mean, you've been so patient with me. You know, I spend so much time shouting out a lot of people, and I always feel like you kind of get short shrift. 6 to 10? Okay, I think that's probably it. But yes, I don't like, you know, I don't like. One of the problems is that when I spend so much time on shoutouts and all of that, it can sometimes be just as conspicuous when someone isn't mentioned. So I, you know, like I do want to make sure that you're properly acknowledged and all of that, because obviously you're an absolute pleasure to have inside of chat, and more importantly, I actually really appreciate how much support you're showing Night Valiant. There's definitely some people who, like, I guess I don't want to, like, the Twitch gossip stuff is never really fun. There's definitely some people who I've really tried to put some support behind, and like sometimes that's been repaid for like a stream where, like, you know, a bunch of people I know will come and try and show some support to this broadcaster, and then they'll like yell at them for something, and it's like, okay, well, you know, now I feel like a bit of an ass because I, you know, sent people off to something that wasn't enjoyable for them. But with that in mind, I still try, you know, where I can. I deal with the best information that I've been given, and you know, act that way. You know, try and exercise the principle of charity. But yeah, so like in the case of Night Valiant, you know, he's somebody who I know has definitely been trying to grow his channel. You know, when I found him, I think he was relatively new at broadcasting, and I just kind of found him through. You know, I found him through the fact that we were streaming the same Kit Fox game on the evening. So, you know, I think most of you kind of come around enough that, you know, that if I see somebody kind of near the bottom of a list, I'll try and show some support. But, you know, this is the thing, right? Like, in the end, people sign up for your stuff. They don't necessarily sign up for the stuff that you want to try and, you know, and support yourself. So, with all of that in mind, I actually really appreciate that, you know, I see you and Ed Baver and a few others so regularly inside of Night Valiant's chat, and it's nice just because I know, you know, for him, I know he really appreciates being able to see some people regularly come through. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm definitely not an example of a stream that's, you know, all put together as far as, you know, bots and whatnot. I have a bot, but, you know, basic functionality, and I don't have a cam or anything like that. So, but, I don't know. Works for me. They're really going hard on the Crusader. Okay, that was a much needed crit. And stun skill. Okay, well they don't. I guess the Deafening Wine can stun. Yeah, let's still go for him. Oh, thank you very much for the. Oh, Cuzwolf, thank you very much for gifting the sub. My goodness, you're becoming super fan tonight. Oh, I needed that. Okay. I'm a little less freaked out about this this run. So thank you for that. And actually, Coswalt did another thing that makes me really happy on the broadcast, which is to use the lovely emotes that the Eyes of Sin has designed for the channel. It's actually one of the biggest reasons why I love, like, I think that hype train that you all ridiculously and kindly gave the stream not too long ago, I think might have actually pushed us into a new emote bracket, because I've noticed that I've got a few unused slots. So one of the things that's really nice for me is that when I hit those certain milestones through Twitch, it's an opportunity for me to hire the Eyes of Sin for another... you know what? No, I got to do the heal. I was going to try and get a stun on the Supplicant, but obviously with 170%, that's not a good idea. But yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to hire the Eyes of Sin for, you know, some more emotes, which I quite like in the channel. But number two, that is the way that she makes a living. So it's nice for me to be able to try and show a little support. I have sort of shown support in other ways as well. But I don't know, there's just something about being able to sort of work for your earnings. Like I know there's something about being able to do it on your own that feels good, and it feels best for me when I'm not necessarily doing a favor or I'm not doing something nice, but it's like, yes, I'm getting an emote and I like it when people share those, and you know, always getting a chance to hire a friend for something like that is really nice. So thank you all for you know, helping that out. That is actually one thing that works well for me whenever those those subs come in. And hello, Despair Embodied. How you doing? Okay, try the Hellion. The Crusader's gotten enough healing, and they keep complaining. This is the weakest, so let's fingers crossed. Nope. I should be switching around the order anyway. So clearly we want to try and take this, the Sycophant out first, because they potentially can heal. Hey! Nothing escapes the eyes of the Warhawk. Oh, well.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Gotta use the heal else.
Denied. For now.
Oh god. At this point, I don't care about my party stress. I care about my personal stress. Yeah, no worries at all, Tiberiosity. I definitely don't take attendance, and I don't know. A lot of people really like keeping the channel on in the background. You know, I know Twitch ranks us based on concurrent views, but you know, having somebody around to appreciate the channel, however they choose to do it, that's, you know, that works for me. So. All right. 2 more medicine to grab. This is where I need to start making choices. Oh no! Oh no!
His eyes with murderous zeal.
Man, I want to know what the recording session for this was like.
Returns even the boldest gaze. Smooth. Sedated.
No!
Well struck. As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
Oh!
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
I'm trying to think if there's a way that I can... So, running raises the stress, which will push the Vestal over the edge. But these are the 3 that I want to turn into my 5s. We've really only been tickling the... We've only been tickling the Fanatic, so unless I can come up with a really viable way to make those... Yeah, how am I going to wind up doing 136 if I'm taking, like, the entire party to take out? I can make my own decisions, thanks. Well, the big question I can never figure out is, if I run, I think I still need to deal with the Fanatic through the hallway.
This skirmish may be lost, but the battle may yet be won.
Yeah, so the problem is now I'm not going to get my levels, because he's like a hard block. But, yeah, I gotta run.
A setback, but not the end of things.
Alright, so that also sets the...
Finely crafted instrument of butchery and bloodshed. Yours for the taking.
That sets the blood run back. I mean, in this case, I'll probably just take some of the level 6s to run through it, so... So, first things first, let's clear out the... Oh, actually, no, sorry, I did clear out some level 5 people, so we will still be able to go for a blood run. If they're hot to trot, shouldn't they be at the brothel? I mean, to a certain extent, it's kind of the hag fight again. But, like, I have fought him before. I definitely don't remember it, though, so... Okay, let's see if we got any replacements. I'm looking for, ideally, Hellions and now an Antiquarian. Well, I mean, we can get a new one. Does the one have a better set of... This one's slightly...
She searches where others will not go.
And, cause, well...
sees what others will not see.
I'm gonna keep you in the party, but I am gonna bring Sigmund in. I believe that is one of the developers' names. Basically, I'm just gonna rename Sigmund. So you're still in the party, but I'm dismissing.
It is done. Turn yourself now to the condition of those poor devils who remain.
Basically, just getting a cheap upgrade in. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is a okay, interesting. I did not realize that the difficulty changed. So, apparently stronger in position 3. That surprised me a little bit. So my usual rule is to improve the people going out first. These I shouldn't be able to, yeah. We're not really going to have any stuns. Cool. And no torches. So I think the 3 turns is more... like, the Hellion and the Crusader are definitely 2 better damage dealers, but the challenge here is that it was usually one of them that was on the stake. So, I suspect that probably a standard fight would not normally be sort of 3... We'll see, though. I mean, it's not the last time we've seen the Fanatic. I really do love the Crimson Court music.
Back to the pit. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. Be gone, fiend.
Yeah, there's a few, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I love Darkest Dungeon so much, is that it will throw things like the Fanatic or the Collector that feel, in some cases, just so unfair when you've already been, like, completely beaten down by the fights. And yet, I've never felt, like, there are definitely some points where I am like, oh man, this is crap. This game. I've never really felt like this game is no good, but there's definitely been a couple of times where I'm like, this game's really trying me. And yet it's never been the point where I come up against those. I'm fascinated how they pull that off. Okay. I don't know if there's an efficient way of going through all this, so I guess like so. I don't know. It's not like we have to worry about the torch. I don't see how the shovel would make sense here. Where are your friends? Oh crap, I forgot to actually shift the skills.
Eradicated. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Uppercut's kind of nice too, but I think we'll stick with these. Although I don't really have a stun, so it's not like finish him is really viable. Sacre bleu! Look, I cut quite the heroic figure, do I not? Okay, I actually love... So, obviously this game... Like, one of the things I love about Darkest Dungeon is how it gets so much mileage out of its assets. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a beautiful game. Everything in this is great. I wouldn't change it. But... it's so funny when you see a lot of gaming discourse and people are like, asset flip, or, oh, they reused this asset at that. Like, Darkest Dungeon reuses a lot of material in ways that people don't necessarily notice. And, like, I love it because it just shows that they've got a really good sense of craft and that they're able to just really make all of its stuff go as far as it can. But one of the other things that I love about this game is that well, it's not the main focus, even though it's a relatively straightforward way of presenting things, right? Like, you've got 4 people on a plane, and, like, there's a little bit of parallax in the background, but, like, it's almost like you've got these, like, these almost like paper cutouts of your characters. I still love the little stories that you can sometimes get out of these. So, what I love here is that you've got, like, Sungif coming out saying, it's like, I cut a heroic figure, don't I? And then there's an event that causes 26 stress. So you can imagine immediately after boasting, you just hear this, ah! At least that's what I think when I play Darkest Dungeon. I realize it's not entirely on brand, but you need a little light to contrast the darkness. Otherwise you grow too accustomed. I'm trying to think if I do the Rain of Sorrows. That'll probably be enough bleed.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Executed with impunity. Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Alright, I'm kind of setting myself up for pain, but... let's take care of this stuff. Ooh!
Obliterated.
That was worth a shot.
Destroyed.
We're definitely not ready for weird reconstruction on the antiquarian. I should have done fortifying vapors. It would have died to bleed anyway.
Them.
Or healing vapors, sorry. Is it fortifying? No, it is fortifying. Anyway. So I guess that means... I mean, maybe there's one here. I don't know if this will count as like a curio or a treasure, but it might mean the very last two rooms that we check out are the ones that that have the winemaker's reserves. It's actually been mercifully short of enemies. Obviously, we got a fight coming up here. Okay. Not great, but it's a start.
Decimated.
Rat. Ah! Oh! Sorry, I thought he was going to do the thirst.
Annihilated.
I definitely undervalue the bounty hunter. Shard of Glass. Plus 35 bleed skill chance, minus 20 bleed resist, and then better... Yeah, why not? Yeah, so I guess it's the last two. Although this will be an interesting experiment. Okay. Yeah, so it does inform you when the quest item is there. I think we should use our hands.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Alright, these guys are going to shred all my sanity. I thought that said insufferable servitude for a second. I thought that's a hilarious ability name. I think we can work with this.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Oh, that sucks. The abyss. Oh, see, the abyssal artillery would have been good there, but.
Formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
I don't know if I can inflict bleed doing this. No. Okay.
A momentary abatement.
That's another character with
the slightest
Crimson
lapse
Curse.
in concentration.
I don't think there's anything I could have done to avoid that, though.
Gently. This is how a life is taken. As the fiend falls.
Again, that's one where I could have done a heal, but it's 1 HP, so I suppose it's not the end of the world. Okay, if we take any damage from these, I'll have to declare chapter 11 or something.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
I think we'll ignore the... Ooh, nice. Okay, this is going to be a complete pain in the ass, but... oh, Jesus, the entire team's going to have the Crimson Curse by the end of this. But... we might be able to one-shot him. Nice. But yeah, like, obviously we're on our way to getting everything we need. So he'll die to his bleed. Oh, that lines him up for... oh, no, it doesn't. He's stunned. I hate you. Well, healing doesn't matter because we go to full health at the end of the turn.
Precision and power.
He really felt that was personal.
A trifling victory. But a
Okay,
victory
clearly I don't need
nonetheless.
shovel. Oh, but I am going to need space for the blood.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Alright, I'd say that's a good... they'd say that's a good day's work. That's 13 blood we got? I mean, 3 people with the Crimson Curse, but 13 blood.
each help the other, and in so doing, help themselves.
Okay, this will be ridiculous. The thing is that the stuff that's most valuable to me is actually higher level, so... But... I don't know. We'll see if we can do anything fancy with it. Tulis was distracted and misplaced the bleed amulet. Well... Lots of thirst. Okay, so as usual, let's just see what's on the wagon. Not a whole lot, to be honest. We're still looking for a Hellion. And nobody at a higher level. I can probably do some trading, but I don't think the terms for... Yeah, 3 for 1. We do use crests in a few things. I don't know. I'll just hang on to it for now. Let's see. I don't know if I really need to heal these two up. Okay, let's see what we want to move on to. So there's definitely a side of me that wants to pay the Viscount a visit, or at least get a little bit further on that. We could try and take out the Necromancer Lord. That would be really nice to have a a Hellion for, though. I think we're also short. Yeah, we don't have a Crusader to do that either. I mean, I could do another Gather the Blood run with these level 4s, and then we'd have a bunch of people ready to either go for the Viscount or to take on the Necromancer Lord. And then that'll also help me with my... Like, again, that'll just help us get a nice big stock. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Particularly... oh, God, yeah, this makes the most sense out of all. Because we have both a Crusader and a Hellion. Although I don't think that works. Oh, no, they do work in a position 3. Okay, cool. So... tempting to boost up the Holy Land. I'm just going to bring 3 for now because we should be able to consume what we find. I'm going to do 8 this time, which does put me in a little danger. Other than that, let's just jump ahead. Drink up, the world's about to end. I know I've said this before, but I also love the idea of vampires as mosquitoes. I don't think I've ever seen that in another game, but it's such an obviously good idea.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
I should have probably done the sick. Anyways, we should
Be gone.
get in between these two. No! Alright. Ah!
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
This is a trap, right? No, that's a curio. Alright, this is not going to be fun, but... Well, it'll be fun, because taking on the bad guys is always fun, but... This is a considerably more serious... For some reason I always felt the courtesan should be a little more susceptible to blight. Maybe a stun would have been better. Oof. I guess that's appropriate for throwing up on the courtesan. Have you read my blog?
Continue the onslaught.
That is such a great... If you get a kill with the Iron Swan, you feel very strong. Okay, so 8 damage on a judgment is definitely stretching credibility, but it's better than trying to stun them.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Ah. Yeah, that just heals him. Oh, it doesn't. Nice. Okay. Well, we'll get... It'll probably wind up killing the supplicant, but... No, maybe not.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
So now would not be a bad time to try some healing.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
I don't think I want to mess with the shovel, but maybe we can try the holy water? Yeah.
Ancient traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood.
We'll see if we can take them out before they move, but it's going to be a tall order.
Confidence
Yeah.
surges as the enemy crumbles.
So after the blood, I think I might make another run on the Viscount. Obviously, I've been going through it. So I was not aware that it was actually the same map for the Viscount. I'm assuming that's not true for all of the Crimson Court. But with that in mind, like I don't know, like I kind of feel like it was designed to be explored. So I'm still gonna do that, but.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly
We'll see.
corruption.
We'll see if I can hold the hold the line on that choice. Been pretty merciful as far as
Wealth
the
beyond measure,
delivering the
awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
mission items. They're not gonna. Again, I'd love to donate, but. Yeah, judgment.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle. Obliterated.
So I don't think I have a way of reaching the courtesan. Nope. I'm gonna regret this because I don't... No, you know what? I really don't need the... No. I'll still do it. The thing is that I may wind up in a situation... wind up in a situation where I can't actually reach the courtesan. Slight loss of... Well, not even a slight loss of health because we gained like 14. So that turned out, but you can kind of see how that would have gone. That would have gone against me. So no information as to what... I have no idea whether or not they... I don't think there's anything that enforces the quest item to be in the last room. But the temptation is definitely to go to the end anyway because we're so far doing okay.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
And obviously if I can walk away with some extra goodies, that just leaves me in a better spot. Okay, yeah, so we can wrap this up pretty much whenever we want. This is going to be a pain to try and reorganize the party, though. The Hellion's going to be the one that suffers the most from it. Let's do a... You know, the manservant's act... I know the manservant hasn't acted yet, or is the only one that's acted, but I actually think that's the one I want to make sure I take out. Nuts. So she's gonna do the thirst almost certainly. Yep. So everything after this fight is gravy, so I'm not too worried if we take a ton of damage, but I would very much like to go to the other parts of this level. Fortunately, though, I mean, the Vestal's the one that needs to heal, and they can self-heal through Judgment, so it's really just if the Chevalier winds up healing through something like the Thirst. Not my favorite choice, but...
The ground quakes.
The thing I don't like about this weapon is 3 rounds of a debuff is quite a bit. Like, that's a pretty high price in my opinion for what that attack gets you. But I'm still, like, I've played quite a bit of Darkest Dungeon.
This expedition at least promises success.
But I'm still kind of new to it, particularly with having such a long time away from the game. So we will continue adventuring. So I think there's probably some subtleties as far as the combat that I'm probably missing. Oh, that slavering ghoul's gonna cause me some grief. We'll still go for it, but I have a feeling we're gonna have some stress to pay. So if we can stun them. If it's the Vestal that winds up locked up for stress, that's not a bad outcome for us. This is where it would be nice to have that bounty hunter. We also don't really have any armor piercing, but... It's unlikely it'll work, but... $12 per round? That works. Oh, that's enough to kill him.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
I guess we don't need to worry so much about shovels, so we can take the extra crests. That's not much of a treasure. Interesting. Have you read my blog? Nuts.
The slow death.
Cool.
Unforeseen, unforgiving.
I'd forgotten whether or not the bleed out or the blight out would leave a corpse. So.
Brought low and driven into the mud.
Okay, don't need a key. No real point in talking to this guy. So I kind of question the decision to go in an environment where I might get hit by a trap, but we don't really know what... I could have been a little more selective on who dismantled the trap. So this strikes me as a really good way for somebody to wind up with bleeding. But we get free health, so... Cool. So that should, even with incredibly generous, even like with very generous blood provisions for our expeditions, we should be good for the next little while. I was really hoping we would get at least one more level 5 out of that. Like the fact that I don't have the Hellion is telling me that we're not going to go take out the Necromancer yet.
Our family name, once so well regarded, is now barely whispered aloud by decent folk.
Yeah, so a lot of desire for the blood, but let's raise our glasses to life and to sorrow. All right. As always, we'll see if there's any replacements. Well, we've got a Hellion, just not a very high quality one. So, oh wait, we were looking for an antiquarian, weren't we? Let me just double check. Actually, I guess I should do by class. Nope, it's alright. We did have an antiquarian, so it is the Hellion we're trying to get then. So we've got Tula's. Yeah, and again, I kind of question the number of Arbalest. Like, the Marksman and the Arbalest are basically the same class, so I kind of question having 3 of them, but we'll probably lose one to attrition anyway, so...
Barbaric rage and unrelenting savagery make for a powerful ally.
So, I think, like I said, probably I want to go after the Viscount, and again, particularly because what would be effective against the Necromancer isn't necessarily available to me, so we'll sort by level. I don't really know what I'm up against when it comes to the Viscount, but we do need to... So this is Jester and Vestal, so we can have a little bit more stamina, basically. I don't know. I feel like Fool's Congregation. Interesting. The Lost Band. Huh. I was trying to think if there's any advantage. So it seems to suggest, yes, this is equally bad in position 1 and 2. Okay. Should also probably look at what artifacts are available, but let's deal with whatever upgrades we can get. So I would have brought 8 because the Vestal doesn't have the Crimson Curse yet, but they may get it. But yeah, I'll take 8 torches. I am gonna go nuts on the food because that's usually what keeps us, and in this case, I'll bring 3 shovels. There is a bit of a debate as to whether or not I want to bring things like bandages. Laudanum probably is a little bit more useful for me, but in this case here, like we're light on. We're light on the ability to sort of, like, really punch stuff. I don't know though. I think we can work with this. The Viscount has set the table. If we encounter the Viscount, though, we'll probably have to run. Because you don't. I don't know. I don't see. I think Darkest Dungeon has very specifically been designed so that the healing abilities don't let you last forever. It's a little early to burn this. God, where are we? Ah, yes. Okay. Please be the key.
The slightest lapse in concentration.
Alright, I think taking out the manservant makes the most sense.
As the enemy crumbles.
So we'll start playing him some fancy tunes. Won't do any healing, just because the judgment might give me a chance. Yeah. So I'm sure there's still horrible stuff waiting to hurt us, but all right. Well, that's gonna kill my my stress for a bit.
The birthplace of dread.
So Leper might wind up being a real hero here.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Alright, I'll take the jute tapestry. Marvelous. Alright, that's not nearly as bad as that could have been. So, it is clearly very tempting to explore all this other stuff, but in this case here, I really do want to get past the locked doors. I was thinking about burning it, but... Sorry, I just need a quick second to stretch. It's not like a break stretch, but I'm just feeling a little... I don't think I adjusted my mic to the right level, so I just want a minute to, I don't know, disentangle myself. Also, it's getting a little cold again, so I'll take a chance to wrap myself up in a blanket. I'm still inclined to wear t-shirts, so... Out of my way, I must cleanse myself. Well, I did say we really weren't equipped for this, but it's kind of a shame to go all this way. I mean...
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Well, I mean, we are in the Crimson Court, so... No. Holy water doesn't do anything. I'm guessing blood doesn't. Yeah. We'll take the chance, but... Yeah, we're still full. Alright, well... Let's see what we're up against.
The glutton's taste for morbidity is made more pronounced by his mutation.
I wasn't expecting him to look like that. He's kind of cute in a weird way. Okay, so we got 127 health, 23 dodge, but I really don't know how to compare that. 3 actions, weakest to stun and bleed. But my Jester's not really in a position to do a lot with that. So I think I'm going to focus on the Viscount first. I don't know what these bodies are going to do, and we don't have any skills listed, so let's just do the damage we can on the Viscount, see what happens. Slice Off doesn't help us, so let's start with a Battle Ballad to make everybody better. I mean, if we get some extra tempo. I guess... Oh yeah, but that's only still going to mean 2 actions. Aha! Alright. So we need to do serious damage to these things for it to be worth it. So in this case, I think we're going to just do a... Like, even if the chances for stuns are low... so it's pretty clear we need to starve the Viscount.
Well struck.
should probably be focusing on the back row because we're actually really poorly positioned for that.
Masterfully executed.
God, he is really cute though.
Continue the onslaught.
Oh, great. It comes up. Nice. It's a very gluttonous little mantis shrimp.
A decisive pummeling.
So I think this is one of these cases I should try Divine Grace. So again, like, it's not a massive surprise that this is kind of a matter of endurance right now. But unless there's some way of like returning the bodies, like, we are gonna be removing its source of heal really soon.
Precision and power. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
So I'd love to do a Zealous Accusation here, but stunning's actually worked pretty well for us so far. Particularly if we get a chance to potentially take out its source of healing. So I'm going to do a Dazzling Light. Yeah, well, couldn't have expected that to work all the time. God, seeing that 50 heal though, it's definitely definitely raises the blood pressure. It's too tempting. Nice. So 23. I'm gonna do the Judgment just because I need to heal anyway. Oh. Oh man, they just served that up to us. Oh, clever. All right, but this is a great opportunity to inflict some bleed.
Impressive.
I don't want the Vestal to get any damage. Okay, and it's pretty obvious I got to do the Zealous Accusation here. Okay, so at this point we're basically in the home stretch. They can do some damage to us, but we're pretty good at healing through it, so... Oh, that's something that could have killed my my leper. With that in mind, I am actually going to do Solemnity. It's a wimpy choice, but I really don't want to wind up losing them to the bleed.
A time to perform beyond one's limits.
Okay, 14 health, 5 damage around. I'm a little worried about this because of the riposte, but this is going to heal, and this might tip them over the edge so that as they take their turns, they die.
And now the true test.
Yeah, that was
Hold
costly.
fast or expire.
Ooh. Okay.
Let us hope he enjoyed his last meal, served cold as it was.
This has happened quite a few times. The first time I see a boss, we wind up taking it out, so... the Master's Essence for the Antiquarian, plus 50 to healing, blight, and debuff. One of the rare ones that actually gives us everything. So the question is, do we want to take our winnings and go home, or do we want to see if we can extract a little bit more from this area? I am going to continue adventuring. The danger of the bleed is real, but we have enough food to kind of keep me going for a little bit.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves. A handsome
Nice.
reward for a task well performed.
Against my better judgment, I think I'll check out this room. We do need to wrap this up reasonably soon, though. Alright, not an auspicious start. Oh my god!
Eradicated. Decimated. Obliterated. Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Alright, I don't think we should lose anyone on this, but we're probably not going to be able to do much after. Ew. I got a little lucky that they went for the thirst. I might be able to bring the stress down on the Vestal. But, it's going to be close.
How quickly the tide turns.
Ah! Crimson Curse, and we got the top stress.
Fear and frailty finally claim their due.
Let's maybe not get the riposte.
Annihilated.
I might have been wiser to do the heal. I'm not sure. We still have a working Vestal though, so. I was really hoping we'd put the bleed on them. Okay, this is a time for judgment if I ever saw one.
Destroyed.
Ooh. Okay, we still have enough. I don't see a way where this character can wind up killed this turn, so we will go for the chop. Nice.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Huh. Oh, I get it. Yeah, so something like that. I'm sorry, Night Valiant. I didn't realize you wanted Cyberpunk 2077. I can switch it up now if you'd like. So it's a nice windfall. I mean, the 25,000 gold is certainly something. I don't know if you got to see it. The Viscount was a really fun fight. I actually really like the design on it. Also, for those of you who don't know, I was talking about Night Valiant a little bit earlier with Tiberiosity. But we've got the man, the myth, the legend in chat himself. So Night Valiant has been doing... it was Into the Breach for a little while, and then Blasphemous seems to be kind of taking up the bulk of his streams. I've not played Blasphemous. From what I understand, it's sort of the Metroid-like game. I really didn't care that much for that style of game before I played Hollow Knight, and I will finish Hollow Knight, by the way. But I noticed I was doing a lot of streams where I was doing sort of the same challenges over and over again, and I wasn't entirely sure that was producing like the best broadcast. Like I was enjoying it on my own, but I was sort of feeling like the lack of progress was beginning to be a bit of a drag for the Friday casts. So the break has been a little bit longer than I was planning just because of some of the other stuff that I've been doing. But with that experience, I've been actually rather enjoying watching Night Valiant play Blasphemous. Although certainly it's been really fun to watch him play Into the Breach, because I know Night Valiant tends to like sort of indies and open worlds and things like that. And that doesn't necessarily lend itself to a lot of strategy style games. But he's very good at it, and like it's fun to watch him play, to kind of see him figure things out. I think Night Valiant's a really great example of why, like, Night Valiant often will make decisions that are quite different from what I would necessarily do in Into the Breach. And, you know, just like anyone, right? I feel the same temptation to write stuff in the chat. It's like, oh, but you can do X, Y, and Z. But the thing that's really fun for me is to not do that, because seeing how Night Valiant works through it, and particularly either sometimes he'll like do the undo button and see what I saw, but very often he's going to find different approaches to the situations that are not necessarily ones I had thought of. And it's actually really interesting to see how that game will allow you multiple ways of achieving the same outcome, like the ideal outcome where you don't lose anything. Oh, that's really interesting, Night Valiant. You definitely showed up on my... I don't remember if you were on the most, but yeah, I got the Twitch roundup too, and you were definitely on there. Although that was maybe a little... For me, that was maybe a little less surprising, just because I do know I hang out quite a bit, and like a couple of times sorry, I just got an email. My books are coming in. But yeah, I don't know. I like kind of hanging out with your stuff, and I'm glad that you enjoy seeing me, because I definitely know just because you like having someone in your channel doesn't necessarily mean that the stream is your thing. So I appreciate that. And of course, you know, for those of you hanging out, if you've not checked out Night Valiant yet, definitely somebody to take a look at, especially because he tends to stream later than me. And so for those of you who kind of hang out and wish that I was streaming a bit later, he's a really good choice because he's got a soft voice and plays things that aren't completely unfamiliar to me. So I feel like he's a good shot. Anyways, a lot of gold. We've got the Viscount Spices, +5 crit if you have the Crimson Curse, 100 healing when eating if you have the Crimson Curse, and +100 food consumed if you have the Crimson Curse. The Countess's Invitation. Delicate script inviting you to dance, affixed with the Countess's royal seal. And Salacious Diary. Vestal only. +33 stress skills while camping, +25% healing skills. I fear the whispers of my mind. +35 debuff skill chance, and +35 stun skill chance. And that's a team of 6s. Okay, so Kaya, GNR/Camerooni, and Ed Baver have ascended to the highest tier. So a faithless Crusader and wheel tactician, Camerooni. I know you... I have evidence you've been watching. So congratulations, you made it.
The virulent clouds from the courtyard have abated. The airs of the estate feel narrowly agreeable once again.
I was not expecting that. That's wonderful. All right, removes the Crimson Curse from all effective heals. So we put so much effort into getting rid of the Crimson Curse. And you don't need to worry about it anymore. Cool. I wonder if that means it's permanently lifted, or if we just get a reprieve until we run into some more... Crimson Court content. Either way, we're gonna take advantage of the opportunity. Okay, Ed Baver. I know hot to trot doesn't mean like you actually want to visit the brothel. It just feels weird to have that ability and not go to the brothel. So have fun, Ed Baver. So as always, I will do a sort by level. It really hasn't been offering us some good replacements lately. I think possibly because it knows that's how I'm going to be treating them. But with that in mind, it would be nice to double check. Yeah, so it's really just the Hellion, which... Okay. So if I'm going to be going after the Necromancer, Crusader would be nice because of the benefits against the undead. Houndmaster's good because of the bleed and the back row attack, but presumably so would the Arbalist, so Falcon might be somebody who helps. So I mean, it's not a hard rule that I have to have like a level 5 in the team. It's just that obviously the biggest improvements will come from bringing people up levels. So let me think a little bit about how I would work this. So if we were to go after the Necromancer Lord, I'd bring Falcon in position 4. So I guess the first question would be, what do I do for healing? Because I feel like I'd need that. That's really a case where the Vestal would help me out, which I currently don't have access to. Oh, Lyrazider's got a bunch of stress. So I could get away with GNR/... I guess the question would be, who would I put in position to? True Asgoth would be my preference for that, although they're maybe not so good like trying to hit that back row would be a challenge. So maybe Chia is the better option to just deal with whatever additional enemies pop up. Yeah, this isn't exactly a Necromancer killer group, is it? I don't know, let's risk it. I don't have a lot of healing, but as long as I'm doing enough damage to the back row, that doesn't matter. Sometimes it's fun to try new things. Although maybe I'll bring that healing along. I keep forgetting to equip people with items. Okay, well they've got some items. I don't know if they're good items, but I'm not going to mess with that. No, they want me to go to the cove, huh? So the thing is about the Necromancer, I roughly have an idea about how it works. I have no idea. I've obviously dealt with the Siren variety of enemy before. I just don't remember it at all. So let's see how we do in the ruins. I really need to make sure I have enough food because I am probably going to want to use the firewood. I'll try with only 8 torches. I don't see a lot of cases of blight, so I am going to pack as many bandages as I can just to try and minimize the damage that we take. And we don't need to worry about flood.
I brought my colleagues back with much of their intellect intact. A remarkable triumph for even the most experienced necromancer. Freed from the trappings of their humanity, they plied their terrible trade anew. The dead reviving the dead, on and on, down the years. Forever.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that dialogue before, so I think we've been beaten by this guy before.
A devil walks these halls. Only the mad or the desperate go in search of him.
I didn't bring any keys. Okay, it's tough, guys, but we can manage.
Precision and power. Continue the onslaught. Destroy
So this gives me a chance to heal.
all. Dazed, reeling, about to break.
I forgot to heal the bleed, though.
And purpose. A powerful blow. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
So yeah, it's the damage from these little intermediate fights that I'm most worried about.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
So clearly this is not the time to be going investigating rooms like this. We want to try and find the necromancer as soon as we can. The best scenario is one where we see that the boss is, like, what room the boss is in, so that way the room before we can heal up. Not clear whether or not that's going to turn out that way, but we can hope, right? Ooh. This is gonna sting.
Well struck.
So one thing we haven't prepped for is lots of stress. So the thing I see as a problem for the potential, or as a potential problem for the Necromancer fight, is that one of my back row damage dealers is also my potential healer.
Their formation is broken.
So while we might be able to mow down the summons, I don't see how we're going to do enough damage on the Necromancer to get ourselves through the mission. But I mean, we're kind of committed to it, right? So let's see how well we can pull it off.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Well, we're stressed out already.
Those who covet injury find it in no short supply. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
So again, this isn't a lost cause as far as the boss fight is concerned. We just need to make sure that we camp in the right spot. It's one of the reasons why I brought so much food. This guy's no luck at all.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Good. This is bad.
The ground quakes.
Ugh. I don't think we have enough gas on the tank to take out the Necromancer now. I want to heal myself, but I don't think any of the healing's going to matter until we can get rid of the sources of damage. I think for this one, one of my sins has been spreading out the damage too much. Because we've still got an entire team of damage dealers. Oh no.
And now the true test. Hold fast or expire. flow. Masterfully executed.
He's hanging on. Oh no! I was really, I just wanted one more turn. I'm gonna pay for that now. God.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear. How quickly the tide turns. Impressive.
Yeah, this has been a disaster. I'll try and salvage it, but I think this is definitely indicated that we're not really equipped for like a final boss.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Please no. All right. Been getting pretty lucky on dodging most of the, like, you know, we're activating the trap, but like we haven't been feeling the consequences, so I suppose that's a small advantage. It only helps a little, but a little is enough.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
So I'm going here because if the necromancer's in this room, I'm done for. If we move into this room, it's possible it will reveal the necromancer's in here or that it's not in here. And again, part of this is about trying to find out when I should use my campfire. Yikes! Clearly this thing's got to go as soon as possible.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
Nice.
Strike.
Oh no.
A hand's breadth from becoming unwound.
So, not only are they stunned, but they're my healer. Running is actually the smarter choice.
Such a terrible assault.
Yeah, we gotta
cannot be
run.
left
There's
unanswered.
no possible way that this...
This skirmish may be lost, but the battle may yet be won.
Oh, go to hell! 2 battles between us and the Necromancer.
Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
So I mean, at this point, the question is, can I even heal up?
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
Yeah, man, there's no way we're healing to a level to take on the... Jesus. If we get ambushed, this is gonna suck. And how you? Sorry, Rasmus. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. So
star is born.
that's a pity, but
We fall so that we may learn to pick ourselves up once again. A fever of willful determination sweeps through the barracks.
they were a fearsome lot. Gritted teeth, distant stares, and between them, an unbreakable bond of fellowship. Plus 15% virtue chance on the next quest. Baver and Sigur had a night on the town and various, so lots of stress healing, but we've got our own new stresses to deal with. Oh, I didn't think that through. Okay. Again, not too many high levels, but it's always nice to take a peek. So I mean, the question is, what do I want to try? Excuse me. Question is, what do I want to try and do? Clearly, we're not in a state to take on the Necromancer. Oh, we could try the Cove. I mean, again, the challenge here is that I'm not 100% sure on what I need for that to happen. I could bring Masse Magoma. Yeah, we don't have enough 5s to really make that a thing. So, let's worry about leveling up my 4s. Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest with you, Erasmus, I don't know if it's a problem with a player so much as it's just a different kind of optimization. So, like, when I play Darkest Dungeon, for me, I'm very conscious of the fact that the Hamlet is forever. Like, you yourself do not die in this game. And so, the worst that happens to you... I keep forgetting Lyra-Zyter for stress. Abby's getting full. So, like, in my case here, like, you'll notice, like, sometimes it doesn't work out. But for the most part, I'm really willing to push very hard in terms of most of the heroes, because in the end, yes, it's a bit of a drag to level people up again, but for the most part, the cost of losing a hero isn't quite as bad as it first seems. And I realize that's not something that most people want to hear. Like, I think a lot of people really do think that losing high-level heroes is a major problem in this game. But it's not my personal experience of it. Like, I think this is a game that is designed to reward sort of risk and pushing yourself to the extreme. At least that's personally how I enjoy playing it. But on the other hand, like, when you're, like, in the face of a truly overwhelming enemy... Wait, really? Oh, hang on. Even I have my limits as far as that goes. So, I guess the question here is, out of my sea of level 3s, who do I want to elevate? Chatwood's not a good choice here because the Hellion to do the Iron Sword needs to be in position 1, and so having somebody who will, like, be jumping back and forth is a bit of a pain. Obviously, I really love the Flagellant. But let's bring a Houndmaster, because I was talking about how they'd be helpful. I guess the question is, who's best in the position 2? I don't know. Bleed in the Wield seems like a pretty solid strategy. So we don't really need more crests. I figure a bust is probably more our speed. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, if you see characters as pure cannon fodder, if it's in the pursuit of a longer-term goal, you'll still probably be alright. But I think, like, it's very... There's definitely ways of playing this game that just completely squander your resources. In this case, your heroes. But yeah, I do think to a certain extent... And I mean, again, like, the game is designed to create, like, a sense of... Like, you really do feel the loss when a favorite hero falls. Like, I don't mean to downplay it, but on the other hand, it's like the thing. Like, again, I'm kind of conscious of the fact that this just very often sounds like an effort to be contrarian for the sake of being contrarian. But I really do mean it when I say that I actually do think, to a certain extent, The Darkest Dungeon is a much more forgiving game than people give it credit for. Like, it's a little bit like Dark Souls in the sense that, like, Dark Souls is by no means an easy game, but I think a lot of Dark Souls that is underappreciated is that it actually does a very good job of making you feel like things are really, really hard. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is actually the most difficult game you'll ever play. Like, first of all, there's lots of things that they could do to make the game significantly more difficult that they didn't do. And like I said, like, that is not a game that, I would introduce to somebody who's used to playing, like Minecraft or The Sims or something like that. Like, no disrespect to those games. Actually, particularly The Sims, I think is a wonderful game. But, I think some of what makes Dark Souls works so well is how it convinces you that what you're doing is incredibly difficult. Not necessarily the fact that the game is necessarily all that difficult. And likewise with Darkest Dungeon, right? Like, what's the worst that can happen to you in the Darkest Dungeon? Like in any one of the dungeons, it's like, well, you can lose 4 characters. You can't lose your entire roster, unless your entire roster, I suppose, is 4 characters. But like, except in that exceptional case, you know, you can't lose everything, and there's always going to be more heroes to come back. So it's really just a question in terms of whether or not you think the journey is worth it to carry on. So now I realize there's like the Stygian mode, which I think has a hard loss, but I don't know, like that I don't think is quite the same. The Drifter's Buckle probably makes the most sense here. That, or I can compensate. Nah, I mean, I'm not going to use the pistol that much, so let's do the... Nah, Drifter's Buckle's probably better. Not crazy about the less damage. Dual wielding whistles. So if I give this character the Book of Intuition, the speed cancels out and there's less of a chance of us being... I don't think that quite works. I mean, this couldn't hurt. The loss of dodge isn't great, but yeah, why not? Yeah, I don't think the Sacred Scroll works for the way that I play the Vestal. It's definitely a risky one. Yeah, we'll work with it. If you live for risk and darkness, by all means bring few torches. Which really should consider that again, except that we are doing okay money-wise.
I knew all these paths once. Now they are as twisted as my own ambitions.
So there's a couple ways that I can do this. I could go sort of straight through and then back up. I could kind of go out and around and then back up. Yeah. Neither's really that exciting, but at least this one we dodge one of the traps. There's nothing of value on the body. Beast has nothing left to offer.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
The crate contains stashed heirlooms.
Waiting to be spent.
Pack has already been looted. Iron Swan's gonna be doing work. Oh, good lord. Yeah, I'm locked into my skills. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do the pistol shots, which I'm not equipped for. I gotta bled this giant out. Oh, that's upsetting. Alright, Hound's Harry. Let's sort that.
Formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
I hate that ability so much. I'm trying to think of how I could...
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Oof!
This injury. Palpable
And
fear.
we're not able to heal this character.
Well struck.
So that's so I can get the Vestal in a healing position. Thank the Maker.
Up. If only to bleed again.
Ah!
A hand's breadth from becoming unwound.
Ah, that doesn't help me at all.
Has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Okay, we can at least get them away from death's door with the food. Good lord. Okay, at least they are not able to see anything, so we have a better chance of being able to heal up. I forgot to move the skills around again. I don't deserve to win. Let's focus down one.
Quickly the tide turns.
How much you want to bet they're gonna like nail every single attack that they need to make?
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Alright, let's get the skills I actually want. Grape Shot Blast still helps. You know, the blackjack actually isn't necessarily a bad one in case we do wind up messed around, like with the confusion spores. I remember, like, I used to have a feeling that the giants weren't that frightening because they never seemed to land their, what is it? Like, they never seemed to land the tree branch attack, so it was like, you know, like, it was threatening, but not, like, you know, all hands on deck, we really need to stop this kind of a problem. And, like, this session alone, the tree branches have just been, like, merciless.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
I'm assuming the Highwayman's the best with traps. That's a welcome torch.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
I mean, we don't exactly need the blood right now, but I think we can skip the stun stone. So get ready for a fight. It's not going to be good for my stress, but I think we can work with this. I do think the cultist is the better target first, though. Okay, that's bought me some time.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Clearly it would have been nicer to heal up the, you know, the team, but...
Gnawing uncertainty.
What was in that howl?
Place of dread.
We could self-heal, but I'm gonna do my best. Cool, not masking or social distancing. Yeah, actually, I guess, sorry, that's a great point. We got plague after they shouted at us in close proximity.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
I'm a little curious what we wound up with. The worries. I guess that's a missed opportunity to call it the heebie-jeebies. Well, if we're gonna... yeah. If we're gonna go for melee, we probably should be.
Annihilated.
Let's do party. Ooh! That was a good one. So I'm gonna be super arrogant and skip with a heal.
Eradicated.
What am I willing to give up for
Seize this
gold?
momentum. Push on to the task's end.
I always forget to use the dog treat, so... Camerooni, how you doing? Yeah, you got to be a bit of a hero.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
In a previous run. So, I mean, this is not ideal torch-wise. We're gonna waste a lot of it on our way back, but we still have a campfire available to us, so... if I feel like the torch is getting too low, we'll set up camp. The only thing about camp is that it does take up food, so... But yeah, I guess, I mean, now that you're able to see it, Camerooni, I was a little bummed out by the fact that I was streaming, like I was starting the stream really late. But I'm happy that you got a chance to catch it, because I obviously saw your messages. I believe you were part of the team to take down the Viscount, which I'd never encountered before. So it's the first time we saw the Viscount, and the first time we beat them. And I'll say it again, I actually think the Viscount is weirdly cute. Although I also think possibly was designed that way, so... So the big worry here is stress. I'm not too worried about the... Not too worried about the darkness on its own. Okay, that worries me as far as the campfire. Slow draw, that's no good. So if I camp now, I potentially starve. And given the fact that we're in good health, even if we do wind up recovering the
ambushed by foul invention,
the lantern, I think in this case we'll just fight in the dark. Should have used the shovel. I thought we had an antidote. Ah, damn it!
Decimated.
I have a plan for this. Let's do Divine Comfort again. So the Vestal might be a good idea for raising up the torch, but I've more or less registered myself for Blackest Pitch. So higher stress, higher monster. Basically, monsters become more difficult, more likely to get surprised, but better loot and better crits. So on balance, I still think we're ahead. Oh, nuts! I chose Wicked Slide. I was gonna jump ahead, so the plan doesn't work as well anymore. We'll fight as is though. I think I can go through this. We'll just stack up the bleed. All right, well that helped me. I don't have the torch at 0. The sound work on this is really good. Another power-up session, by the way. Or another power-up game.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
So, not gonna do well stress-wise, but I think we are pretty clearly gonna do stress recovery in the town. By the way, I've had one case where I searched the carcass and I get syphilis. I was like, what exactly were we doing to that carcass again?
Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
Oh, this is gonna get exciting. So I can't Iron Swan them either. I'm gonna Hound's Harry. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this, though. It does make sense to try and take them all out at the same time, but...
Destroyed.
Okay, crits help. What? I did not realize they could make them out of nothing. There is one upside to this. I get the most badass looking skill back. That's done.
Their cursed champion falls. This expedition at least promises success.
Probably should have done that on the Houndmaster. So, I mean, at this point we might as well grab what we can.
Secrets and wonders can be found in the most tenebrous corners of this place.
We get so lucky on these disease and blight runs, or rolls. 250's not worth giving anything up for.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Alright, we are out of here.
Every cleared path and charted route reduces the isolation of our troubled estate.
So what's this rare item? Oh yeah, so pure bonus plus 40% healing received. I can definitely see... So, tanking is definitely not as... like, so I kind of know that for characters there is a way of acting as a tank. But there's just something about the fact that you have to manipulate so many things to try and focus the damage on one character. I've always kind of found it better to try and take the initiative. So in one sense, this seems like a really cool... Actually, you know what this would be really interesting on? The Flagellant. Yeah, I gotta try that out, actually. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with where we wound up here. And apparently the worries turned into spotted fever.
Caused this great foulness, and it is shameful that I must rely upon you to set it right.
Okay, so Falcon is now God-fearing. Chia is now calm. Generally things are looking up, though. This is roughly around the time that the game decides to kick me in the nuts. Meditation's exactly the sort of thing you want to put a ruminator in for. So, if I were to be silly and try... Like, if I were to say, okay, I'm feeling super confident now, let's go try and kill the Necromancer again. I guess... Well, no, that's not a Houndmaster we'd use, though. It's not a terrible Necromancer group, except that I seem to remember doing a lot better by putting a bunch of debuffs on the Necromancer. But in this case, we at least have the heal. So yeah, I think I'm gonna tilt at the windmill again. I mean, the other thing I could do is try and ditch GNR Slash in favor of something else. But the Leopard didn't exactly impress last time. So, there you are, Camerooni. It doesn't mean that you're going to be benched for a little bit longer just because I've got nowhere else for you to go. Did I check the coach? Ooh. Let's make sure we've... Alright. It's really hopeful for a moment. The other thing, presumably we haven't gotten this far without equipping people with... Yeah. You're just psyched that you're still alive at this point. Yeah, you'll be the first one to go in the darkest dungeon. Ah, my old friend, the 16-pounder. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna make another shot at the necromancer. And I feel like we have enough healing that I don't need to bring the items, but I may come to regret that.
I brought my colleagues back with much of their intellect intact. A remarkable triumph for even the most experienced necromancer. Freed from the trappings of their humanity, they plied their terrible trade anew. The dead reviving the dead, on and on down the years. Forever. A devil walks these halls. Only the mad or the desperate go in search of him.
So you're saying the necromancer changed the floor plan? It's architect in his spare time. The Ancestor is a deeply misunderstood man. That's so upsetting that it's 1 health that the witch survived by. Judged!
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
He really loved piling on the Crusader. Son of a... That uncle that pops in for Christmas, raises a few health spawn, then gets out before it's fine.
Destroyed.
I don't know how we could petition Wayne June to read A Christmas Carol, but I feel like after 2 years of pandemic and lockdowns, I think the Lovecraftian reading of Dickens' holiday masterpiece is it's the thing we need.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Alright, well we don't really have that much of an option, so let's mark them.
Confusion, nerves, and panic. passion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
There's no Iron Swan to do, so it doesn't really matter in terms of positioning right now.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
So they're gonna get some free hits on us while we try and work through the corpse. You can hear that voice saying the Marleys were dead to begin with. Yep. I think possibly one of the most faithful adaptations of the sorry, did I call it A Christmas Story? It is not the story of Tiny Tim trying to get a Red Ryder BB gun. A Christmas Carol, if I didn't say that properly. But The Muppets Christmas Carol, in addition to just being great because it's the Muppets and who doesn't like the Muppets, you'd be happy to have him do "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." "'Twas the blackest night before Christmas," all through the coven. But yeah, like, one of the things that's kind of really neat, like, it's an adaptation. Some of my favorite adaptations of works, and sorry, I know I'm all over the place in terms of some of the stuff I want to say. So, some of my favorite adaptations are ones that acknowledge that film is a different medium and it needs to tell the story in a different way, but it shows that it did more than just read the source material and copy the plot. So I think one television series that did this very well, I think I only saw 2 or 3 seasons, but there's the BBC adaptation of Sherlock Holmes called Sherlock. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch. I saw it up to the Rickenbach Fall, but from what I understand, there's episodes out. I mean, there have to be episodes after it. That'd be a pretty weak way to end a series. Even though that is actually how Arthur Conan Doyle intended to end it, but what's really neat about it is that there are enough, like, so it's a modernization of the Holmes stories, but there are enough nods to people who have read the books and very specific references that you only get if you've read the book or the short story. That, like, I mean, I also gotta kind of be clear here. I have my criticisms of Martin Scorsese for doing a lot of, like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink to the audience, you know, to make them feel clever. What I really mean by this, though, is that, like, the series is enhanced by these references to the original material. If you've read the stories, you will kind of know that you're in good hands. But they're never, like, the director sort of jumping in front of the camera saying, "Hey guys, I'm clever too," you know. Yeah, exactly, Erasmus. Like, what's great about the Muppet Christmas Carols, even little details of the fact that the narrator in A Christmas Carol is actually a bit like me. Like, they kind of get distracted and go on tangents in that. And within the opening moments where you have, you know, Rizzo and Fozzie, right? Giving the opening. Like, the digression they get on is like the Marleys were dead to be... Sorry, Gonzo. It's Gonzo and Rizzo. You know, the Marleys were dead to begin with. You know, as a terrible way to open a Christmas story. It's like, no, it is. And they get into a digression. Now, that totally works as a Muppets thing, right? You've got banter between the different characters. But that's actually also very consistent with the way that the story is told. And I don't know, like, that's just the sort of stuff that I really like, because it's, you know, if I suppose at the most basic level, if you like the story, if you like the book, it's kind of nice to feel like you're home. But more importantly, like, that sort of stuff I rate much higher than... And, like, I feel bad saying this because I had some friends who worked on it, but, like, I didn't care that much for the adaptation of the comic Watchmen. It's in the spirit. Well done. The whole thing about Watchmen was that they were saying, you know, it's going to be a completely faithful reenactment of the comic. And that, to me, suggests that they didn't really understand what made Watchmen so special. So, like, first of all, that rule only applies up until the ending becomes inconvenient and the pirate sub-story becomes... you know, the pirate sub-story becomes, you know, inconvenient for the running time. So even in terms of faithfulness, it doesn't play by its own rules. What it effectively is, it's an abdication on the part of the people responsible for translating it into a motion picture to realize it as a motion picture. And then, as, you know, you say, you know, it misses the point because, I mean, Alan Moore, regardless of what author's intentions are, like, it's very clear to see... Alan Moore is not just being difficult when he says that that comic was designed to show how comics can be a very unique medium for telling stories. That there are things in Watchmen that were specifically meant to be comic only for the very reason that there was the perception that, you know, comics are essentially inferior movies because they're just fixed. And of course, Watchmen does a lot of very clever stuff, which if you read Alan Moore's little pamphlet on writing, he pretty much abandoned right away after he did them. But with that in mind, there's a lot of things that make Watchmen unique as a story and one that is uniquely told as a comic book. So to a certain extent, like, I actually would have liked it if they abandoned the idea of the quote-unquote pure adaptation of Watchmen. But it seems that we got the worst of both worlds in this, which is that they decided to deviate from the source material when it was inconvenient for them. And yet in all of the other situations, you know, like for the action scenes, we basically get the panels from the comic book, which, you know, I would be just as happy to read the comic. So, and, you know, I say this acknowledging, first of all, you know, again, friend worked on it. It wasn't, you know, it's beautifully photographed, nothing wrong with the camera department. And I know some people really like that movie. And, you know, again, as with anything, it's nice if there's more enjoyment in the world than less. But I do that to highlight the distinction between something like the Muppets adapting A Christmas Carol or the BBC adapting the Sherlock Holmes stories, where they make them their own. Or actually, I'd argue from the little bits I've seen of The Man in the High Castle, they seem to have done a good job of adapting the source material to motion pictures as well. You know, in those cases, you feel that you are working with good filmmakers who really understand the material and wanted to make a movie out of good source material. And then you have these alternative cases where it sort of feels like people, you know, people are just kind of mining a popular source for, you know, some built-in marketing dollars. This is why I haven't seen all of it, but like why I think the HBO Watchmen adaptation succeeded is because essentially they said, well, we're just going to take this story and go in our own direction with it. From what I understand, there was like a follow-up comic series which also becomes sort of canon in that world. But, you know, obviously the bits that I've seen of the HBO Watchmen, like they definitely take non-obvious steps in terms of where, you know, where that world goes, but they're ones that do kind of feel consistent with sort of the themes and the ideas that were being presented in the source material. Yeah, like, and this is one thing too. It's a little bit like AAA games. Like, I think the thing to remember about Hollywood is it's really it's really easy to to yell at them. It's really easy to like be upset about Hollywood stuff. But the thing is that for the most part, the floor of most Hollywood, There are definitely exceptions, but for most Hollywood, you have got a floor of quality. It is very hard to go to the movies and see something that's just pure incompetence start to finish. Generally, that sort of stuff doesn't make it to theaters because it costs money to bring stuff to theaters, and you know, there is a certain screening process in terms of like getting people to go. So like, I know a lot of people don't want to see Fast and Furious movies, but it's hard to say that the Fast and Furious movies are poorly crafted, right? They're not, you know, you're not going to study it at like NYU or something like that, but it's hard to say that they're not making the thing that they're setting out to make. Independent films can be very, very interesting. And I mean, this is true for games as well. But like independent films can be really interesting because they are free from a lot of the considerations that Hollywood movies are going to have. They don't need to make back as much money. They are not as sensitive to the demands of different marketing groups. You know, you'll potentially have underrepresented groups or essentially people who have a tremendous amount of talent but haven't been able to work within the existing system, or they're trying to prove themselves. There's a lot of different things that have indies, or at least used to have indies. I haven't really seen a lot of indie films. Well, I guess it's like Netflix are making all of those kinds of movies now. But anyways, these kinds of stories have certain advantages to them. And they sort of take their small size. Actually, this is an older movie, but like a really good example of this is the movie Primer. Primer does not try to be a movie that has mass appeal. But man, I really find that a compelling movie. That it's about a lot of stuff, and it's like I'm really into it. And so too with like AAA and indie in terms of gaming. The Division 2 is a very well done game, and I actually rather like The Division 2, but I can completely understand people who don't want to play that sort of thing. I would say that person is saying, I don't like that kind of game, not that is a bad game. You know, Battlefield 2042, I've actually rather enjoyed the Hazard Zone mode. It's got mostly negative reviews on Steam. You know, it's certainly not a very popular game, but it's hard for me to say it's a bad game. I do think it's probably fair to say it's a disappointment at this time, because I don't see a lot of people defending it, but I don't know. I think there's some stuff in there that can make it good. I got to try it again because I know they've had a couple of patches. But yeah, like the thing is, again, like with AAA, there's a certain floor of quality that you have. Even Cyberpunk 2077, despite its really high-profile kind of faceplant. I am going to get back to Darkest Dungeon, by the way. Even despite its really high-profile faceplant, the fact of the matter is that there have been a ton of people continuing to play and enjoy that game. Generally, those people are on PC. But, you know, in terms of, like, a bad game, if Cyberpunk is a failure, I want to fail like Cyberpunk. But I'm also going to turn around. Like, that doesn't let them off the hook. Like, obviously, that game should have been so much more, and we talked about that a bit. So, but then again, you take a look at something like Darkest Dungeon. Now, you know, both Chris Barassa and Tyler Sigmund had experience in games before, and you know, it's pretty clear that they wanted to make a good game. What's interesting is that they had a really popular game that was very much in danger of falling apart, because when they did the Corpse and Hound update, there just seemed to be this uprising on the part of the players. And there was no guarantee that this game would continue to be successful after that, right? Because early access is early access. You're going to continue developing the game, and if everybody's lost interest, it's you know, there's stuff that this is a research project that I did that I never actually put out on the blog. You would be surprised at the number of games that were top sellers in the month that they came out, and in less than a year shut down because it wasn't financially viable to continue the game. So, Early success is definitely not like your meal ticket. But again, in the case of Darkest Dungeon, they're a small studio. They've got a really interesting idea for a game that's never really been done before. It doesn't need to appeal to a wide enough audience to sort of make back, you know, a $300 million budget. You know, in the case of, you know, in the case of this one, like, I don't, you know, nobody had really done a story about, or a game about, you know, the fact that if you are the standard Dungeons and Dragons party, you know, it's actually not the wounds to your body that really matter, but it's those wounds to the, you know, to the ego, to the, you know, to the soul that really matter. And it's such a compelling idea. Like, it clearly works. But again, that's not the sort of thing you'd necessarily see coming out of a, you know, a big, you'd see coming out of like a really big developer, for the simple reason that it doesn't necessarily lend itself to these massive theme parks that, you know, huge games are today. So anyways, I realized that was a really long journey and that we got onto it from discussing the Muppets Christmas Carol, but you know, sometimes you need a little light before you get clobbered by the Necromancer. And how you doing? The People's Hulk, 11th of his name. I will do my best not to die, but we'll see. Got to run. Have to catch up on the rest of the discussion later. Actually, I just wrapped it up, along with the earlier Viscount smashing. Apparently being a nerd means you can fix your parents' non-working fish fountain. I love fish. Like, both to eat, but also as pets. Have a good one, Camerooni. Thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you for helping me take out the Viscount. And, yeah. Well, I mean, like, obviously, Darkest Dungeon has sold very well, as has its sequel, to my understanding. But, you know, I don't know if there's, like, I mean, I don't want to be responsible for spreading rumors or anything like that, but I don't know if there's, like, official numbers on it, but I at least the indicator seems to be that it's done very well. Unlike Muppet Christmas Carol and Eternal Joy. But, you know, like, clearly this game is very popular and has a wide audience. But yeah, like, it's...
stone seems bent on preventing passage.
I definitely think, like, on the surface you can say this is a very good game that I think a lot of people would be interested in playing. But it's not necessarily, like, this is the event. But then again, I would have said the same about Stardew Valley. And it turns out that, like, everybody wanted to play Stardew Valley. Which I still have not actually seriously played yet. Definitely getting a lot luckier with the scouting. Unfortunately, we're going to be out of shovels.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
So, do I go the long way first? Yeah, let's do the long way. Because I still have the fire as a backup. Let's try the holy water. Consecrated washer dissolves the ash. Cool. Well, I guess we had to run into enemies at some point. Cool. Oh, I forgot to change the positioning. Alright.
A powerful blow.
I don't like that debuff, but it'll let me Iron Swan if I need to. It's worth trying to get a little tempo. I might have to give it back in the heal. God, I love that ability.
Give them no quarter. passion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Have you seen my blog?
Soothed. Sedated.
Okay, I'm not too worried about that unless the ordering doesn't... Ah. Hey, nice. Aw, really? I really hope he doesn't get a turn ahead of him.
Ghoulish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud. Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Cool, we made the right call. So we can do a fireside chat. I feel like burning the books would not be conducive to sanity. Oh, you know what? That was dumb. Because I'm gonna set up a campfire. Well, there's probably going to be a fight in the room anyway, so... this is gonna suck. Even the music's... This is the... They're in trouble music. So I'm hoping the Iron Swan's gonna do the no. Courageous!
A moment of
The night is black, yes, but the fire burns bright.
of despair.
Alright, our turn. Judged!
Devastating blow.
No, that's disappointing. And we won't be able to do the Iron Swan after all, so...
A decisive pummeling.
Man, we're getting pretty lucky here. He says as it misses. Oh. So I'm trying to get a little tempo for the healing. Nice. So again, we're going to use the firewood, but the less that I need to spend on healing, the more that I get to put towards buffs. Okay.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Let's ditch the herbs, and I think we can trade. Yeah. So let's use the firewood first, so then I'll get a crack at the statue.
A spark without kindling is a goal without hope.
Okay. So, accuracy and dodge for 4 battles. Speed for 4 battles. Sharpened spear, for sure. Ooh. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna go hard on buffs. My friend, the light shines upon you. If we learn to move in ordered fashion, we will fight better together. Please no ambush. Ready for battle, let them come. We're out of firewood, we must steel ourselves for a push to the end. If we work together, we can overcome this evil.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Cool. Alright. Now is the time for you to play music that's under copyright. Anything you want to pump pump yourselves up. Here we go.
Towering, fierce, terrible. Nightmare made material.
Glorious! We are gonna have a word, GNR Slash. Oh, damn it. I didn't think about the 3 position. So that's... I can afford a little reduction in healing. So again, the skeletons do not matter at all. They're largely a distraction. Ah, damn it. The speed is actually turning into a bit of a liability. Ooh, okay.
Precision and power.
So if we can avoid Death's Door... Ooh! Oh, just stress, okay. I was really hoping for that to be just like a real killer. That's the worst possible time I could have got hit by that. It's very possible that we lose the Hellion. Woo! What? No! God damn it! That was supposed to be an arrow. Son of a
No place
bitch!
for the weak or foolhardy.
Man, yeah, like, and the real killer on that is that was such an unnecessary death. Like, I could have used the
Now the true test.
I could have used the Arbalest for a heal, or at the very least I could have shot them with a sniper shot. I feel so bad about this, but the Crusader is not going to deliver kills on the Necromancer, so... Holy God!
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
This is gonna be nuts.
A hand's breadth from becoming unwound.
Okay, so that's not damage. If we can get the Vestal... Okay. So we've saved ourselves from death. I'd love to debuff, but... we just need to focus... we need to focus on the task. So this is one of these cases I really don't actually want to kill this thing, because it's going to mean that he changes position and he's going to reach out to try and attack us here. So I'm going to stun the Bone Shield while... well, try to. Okay, it obviously knows what's going to potentially take it out. If we can get a lucky crit...
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Boom!
Living sinew to actuate them. Will these walking bones finally fail? Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
I guess we get rid of the emeralds. Yeah, man, when I lost the Hellion, I was like, this is really, really dangerous. But we got through it. Unfortunately, we don't have any high-quality Hellions in the party anymore. But that's a... I don't know. I actually like those kinds of wins a lot more, because the thing is that, like, everybody's going to tell you, it's like, what do you need to do to defeat the Necromancers? It's like, well, you know, you stack a lot of damage over time, and you make sure you've got somebody to deal damage in the 4th position. So, like, an Arbalest, a Houndmaster, a Hellion. And obviously, like, we would have had so much of an easier time if we had the Hellion there, because we put everything into the bonuses on that character. But, like, keeping your cool and saying is, like, even though this party is relying on people in, like, being perfectly in each position they need to be in, it's definitely one of those ones where you want to say, it's like, I am confident enough in my ability to get this thing done. And, like, I can definitely remember a few times playing this game when, like, chat has absolutely no faith whatsoever in my ability to pull some stuff off. And, like, there's some cases where it's obviously something that I'm going to lose and I shouldn't try and push it. That's definitely not the case here. But, like, I'm really happy that that one was able to be pulled back from a really, really... a really dumb loss. Like, that's totally on me for that death occurring. But it feels good to win that. We're also drowning in cash right now, so apparently we got vampiric spirits for our trouble.
In time, you will know the tragic
Also,
extent of my failings.
Hi Camerooni, if you're watching. Sorry you missed this out. I hope the fish got dealt with. All right, let's cure some maladies. Oh, probably should read that log a little more closely. Montfiquet has gone on a personal vision quest to achieve enlightenment. So they'll or Montfiquet, I guess. All right, I think Falcon's earned a little rest. Also, Sigur, Tippler, Drunken Nun. So let's see if we can get a replacement Hellion. We cannot. There is a small argument that we could get rid of Bourdet. Okay, so Falcon's 1, Sharp's 2. Okay, it is still just 3. Oh, but we can get rid of Brickville.
Another soul battered and broken, cast aside like a spent torch.
Yeah, the rest isn't necessarily an improvement. Cool. Probably should have used these before. Yeah. Well, I do know we're going to try and get rid of another disease.
Experimental techniques and tonics can overcome things a sharpened sword cannot. In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
So I'm just trying to see some of the things I need to do. So defeat the Brigand 16-pounder. I think that's in the Weald. Defeat the Drowned Crew. That would be in the Cove. Defeat the Formless Flesh. That's the Ruins, isn't it? Oh no, I guess the Gibbering Prophet's in the Ruins. So... Okay, yeah, we still actually have quite a few level 3. We've only taken out 2 level 3s. I'm pretty sure we've actually gone up against the 16-pounder before. So the Countess, obviously, we haven't seen yet. Apparently there's a third part to the Color of Madness. Color of Madness is a nice, really nice song as well. We certainly have not even thought of trying the... certainly not made an effort to try the Darkest Dungeon yet. I figure I probably want to try defeating like all of the different bosses before we brave the Darkest Dungeon. But that was, I feel like that's been a pretty good run. I am gonna have to call it here. We are around the 3-hour mark anyway, so I'm feeling. But I'm actually really feeling good about this stream. I know, except for sort of the digression on film, I didn't really do as much chat, which I apologize for. But I'm, like, I don't know. I feel like this is a good session of Darkest Dungeon. Like, this is one of the things where I'd totally be going to, like, work or whatever and talking to friends and be like, hey, I played this awesome game and here's what happened to it in it. And everybody would be like, we don't care, please stop talking to us about this. Also, I've got so many crests and
rarities and curios, sold at a profit, of course.
I probably should be putting it towards upgrading the Hamlet, but by God, I want to. Let's just see if, okay, Blacksmith 100%, Guild 100%, Nomad Wagon just upgraded, Abbey 100%. Tavern, 100%. Coach, I'm pretty sure, is the first thing we upgraded. Survivalist, aha.
Alone in the woods.
I like never use this.
Survival is the same. Prepare, persist, and overcome.
So we've got a lot of deeds. Let's see if there's anything we can do with those. not enough, it would seem. We could, however, build the Athenaeum. See, it's tempting, right? It's exactly... I see exactly what this is intended to do, which is to sort of act as a sink to all of these, like, to the surplus that you get. But in terms of what I would get, like, I feel like the Crusader, Vestal, and Flagellant are my... like, they're my A-team. Whereas Antiquarian, Occultist, and Plague Doctor, I very rarely bring... you know, with me. Like, I definitely feel a lot more comfortable with these, and particularly the healing skills and stun resist. Like, that's... I feel like Altar of the Light is what I should be working on. So even though it's going to take me a while on the deeds, I feel it's better to save up for this rather than just sort of use, you know, build the first building I can. And at some point I'll try the Butcher's Circus, but not today. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm feeling good about tonight's work. Also, we'll take a quick second at the graveyard. Here is all who have fallen in the service. Oh, it is already. So, Brond bled out. Reynaud met their end against a Bone Soldier. Jamie met their end against a Crocodilian. Oh man, I forgot about the Crocodilian. Valken bled out. By the way, for those of you, I guess, well... yeah, we'll do this at the start of the next one. I do need to start naming these after people again. Captain Zerge wasted away due to lack of blood. Gan succumbed to blight. Danvers succumbed to blight. Johnny Big Time fell to the hand of an ally. Ed Baver met their end against the Crocodilian. Eldobi bled out. Kangarees had a heart attack, as did Vessi. And Callie. Oh yeah, I seem to remember this whole... no, so not the whole team. There was like one person who died, and then we ran, and the whole team died to heart attacks. Roussel also had a heart attack. Man, we got a lot of people dying to heart attacks. What happened between weeks 33 to 40? Like, please tell me we changed everybody's diets. I don't think this is about stress. I'm thinking these heart attacks might be due to dietary issues. Okay, anyway, sorry. Guillaume also had a heart attack. Okay, so in a row, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 heroes die to stress. Then we had a Vestal bleed out, and then we had 4 more 4 more high-level heroes die to stress. I think this might actually have been one of the first groups we sent after the Necromancer Lord. Kite fell to a Bone Commander, Scream, heart attack. Plagus, XM. Man, I lose a lot of people to stress. Frankenvinder, slain by a Vile Milner. The champion Vestal was slain by a Gatekeeper. Oh, that's right, we have gone against the Collector, so we lost an Antiquarian to them. Drew succumbed to the Blight. Daryl had a heart attack due to stress. McRae had a heart attack due to stress. Cardinal also fell to stress. Sin, oh my goodness, I didn't realize we had Sin in here, was slain by a Vile Sycophant. Clark bled out. Collier met their end against the Chevalier. JFC Fuller was slain by a Brigand Raider, so this is 2 weeks ago. Dismas fell to a Brigand Raider. Pistres succumbed to Blight. Krivakur met their end against the Fanatic before we ran. And Tools was slain by a Bone Sergeant in order to defeat the Necromancer Lord. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40 heroes have fallen. All right, like I said, a lot of fun. Let's take a second here and see who's online so we can pass along the fun and good times to somebody else on Twitch. Sorry, it's taking a second for my browser to load, and we're probably going to hear 101 YouTube videos open all at the same time. Oh, there's actually a few more of you here than I thought there would be. I know it's been a little quiet lately. Thank you all for hanging out. Oh, man. Okay, there's a few good people streaming, but Night Valiant is playing Chrono Trigger. So I kind of feel like if you know somebody's playing Chrono Trigger, you're obligated to... I've never actually seen the ending of Chrono Trigger, but that's a really good game. So please let the boomer Night Valiant know that you're thinking of him in the retirement home. Ask him whether or not this game originally came out in black and white. Do whatever you can to make him feel old. I think Night Valiant's definitely somebody I like watching, and Chrono Trigger is a pretty special game, especially if you haven't seen it before. This game is really impressive, even though it's a Super Nintendo game. And I actually think Night Valiant's a really suitable streamer for it. So I hope you all have a good time. Thank you very much for watching me. I'm going to be recording some stuff over the weekend. I'm actually really far behind on getting videos done, so I'm going to have to do a lot of catch-up. I don't have any holiday plans, so I am planning for the next couple of weeks the regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday streams. Monday, I'm probably going to be back to Stellaris. We're in a tough spot on the Stellaris playthrough, and I think if we lose, I might change up games. I like Stellaris, but I'm wondering if my heart's really going to be in it after, if I suffer another defeat. Especially because it's a crummy reason why I'm getting defeated. It's just something dumb that I did. But yeah, we'll be back with Stellaris on Monday to at least see the thing through to the end. Wednesday we'll probably be playing Phantom Brigade. I believe that will get a new patch, and my plan is for next week to do more Darkest Dungeon. As always, I might change my mind, but I don't know. This is a long goodbye. Thank you for watching again. Night Valiant's coming up in 5 seconds, so treat him well. Till then.